realized that nope, this is not happening today. I'm not going to exhaust myself walking in 6 feet of snow and it's soaking wet. So sometimes you just got to know when to turn around. Today is one of those days. So if you're watching this video, you were probably interested in the title, and the title of this video is 5 mistakes that can ruin a first hike. And you know, everybody's got an opinion, but these 5 things are just based on my experience. I've been hiking for 35 years now, and over the years I've taken a lot of people. I've initiated people to this sport many times, colleagues at work, family, girlfriends, lots of people. And these are the 5 things that I've learned over the years can really ruin a first hike. And in some cases, for some people, if they ruin that first hike, they're done. And others will learn from their mistakes. We all make mistakes, right? So we all make mistakes. So, number 5, for me, number 5 is the fact that first-time hikers, backpackers, try maybe too hard to make the experience in the field similar to the experience at home. And consequently, because they do that, they're unhappy. So as an example, you know, you're not going to sleep the same way as you sleep at home. You're not going to eat the same way. You're going to wear the same clothes. Some things are going to hurt. You're going to be uncomfortable. It might be cold, but a lot of things can happen. So if you try too much so if you set your expectation too high, you're likely to get disappointed. And I say this a lot. The simple definition of happiness in life is when your expectations are met. And as an example, when I left here to come here this afternoon, I lowered my expectations. I thought, okay, the trail's probably going to be muddy, it's probably going to rain, it's probably going to be cold. And as I progressed and I got here today, the trail was relatively dry. It's beautiful outside. So my expectations were exceeded, so I'm very happy. And another example is, you know, food, for instance. You see that I'll just eat out of, you know, I'll bring 1 cup and I'll eat instant soup. You know, the food isn't fresh. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but so one of the things is so number 5 is lower your expectations a little bit and don't try to make it as the same as home. Be prepared mentally for some hardship. Now, number 4 that can ruin a hike is bringing too much stuff and probably too much weight. That'll quickly ruin a trip for some people. And so back to number 5, if you lower your expectations a little bit, you'll be able to reduce your weight. When you're out here, nobody cares if you wear the same clothes every day. Nobody cares what you smell like. If you eat all your food out of 1 cup and you don't need to, you know, don't bring a plate, a bowl, a cup, a fork and a knife, you know, bring less stuff. So, and really think hard about what you need and what you don't need. You know, do you need that big pillow that you're used to at home, or can you get by with a smaller pillow? Do you need 2 pairs of shoes, you know, 1 for camp and 1 for crossing creeks, or can you get by with a little bit less? So there's obvious ways to reduce your weight. One very obvious way is to leave stuff behind. You don't need a solar charger for your batteries. You probably don't need an extra, pillow. You don't need to bring a book. You don't need a photo album. You don't need an espresso machine. Leave a lot of that stuff behind, and that automatically lowers your weight. Then, of course, if you can afford it and you can buy better gear, well, you can save weight that way. But you know, it's something called diminishing returns. I mean, trying to go from a 3-pound tent to a 2-pound tent is a noble cause, but you can lose a pound way easily by, you know, leaving behind stuff that you don't need. And the other important thing is to do, you know, I did a video earlier, and I'll put a tag up to that video of a risk assessment. But when you do a risk assessment, you'll realize that you don't need that extra fuel. Maybe you don't need, such a complicated first aid kit. Do you need a compass if you're going somewhere that you're familiar with? Do you need a map? All those things, you know. So when you do your risk assessment, you realize, you know, you'll realize maybe you don't need all the extra clothing. A second sleep you can get with a lighter sleeping bag, things like that. So just reduce your weight by leaving stuff behind, and if you can afford it, by buying stuff that's a little, you know, pricier but weighs less. The third thing that'll quickly ruin a trip is equipment that doesn't work well, or that underperforms. And so it's important to familiarize yourself with all your gear first of all. So by familiarizing yourself, I mean take it out of the box when it's brand new, set it up at home, try that new stove, boil some water on your pot, roll out your sleeping bag, sleep in your backyard if you have to, put on your pack, learn to pack, walk around your neighborhood or go do a day hike somewhere, but bring your loaded pack. But familiarize yourself with your equipment. Learn how your tent works, you know, so you can set it up properly, and you'll know if you know if it's going to leak or things like that. Your pack will be a pack. Learning to pack properly is very essential. You know, you can improperly pack and have a miserable experience. So the third thing that can really ruin a hike is unfamiliarity with your equipment. The number two thing that'll ruin a hike is being overly ambitious, and that's common. So you know, you've looked at a picture and you see a beautiful lake that everybody's taking the pictures of the lake, but it's 15 kilometers in and it's 1,000 meters of elevation gain, and you think you're going to get there on your first outing in the summer. You might not. So lower your not lower your expectations, but set some reasonable goals, itinerary wise. You know, if you're not, learn how fast you can walk. I mean, walking 20 kilometers a day or 16 miles a day is actually pretty ambitious in the mountains. And so I see that all the time. People say, oh yeah, we'll do a certain loop. You know, it's recommended that the loop can be done in 5 days. Well, maybe it's 6, so because you got to factor in a wet day or something like that. But I see being overly ambitious as the second most common cause of ruining a hike. And for me, the number one thing that ruins a hike more than anything else for people is problem footwear, and specifically blisters. There's no excuse, there's no reason you should have blisters. I mean, we all get them from time to time, but if your boots or your shoes fit properly and you have the right kind of socks, you shouldn't get blisters. Now, there's no secret answer. You can ask me. I wear full leather boots, always have, and I get no blisters. I can't wear trail runners. It's personal, and you have to learn what works for you. When somebody asks me what my favorite pair of boots is, I'll tell you what they are, but I'm not going to recommend my pair of boots. I never would do that, because boots or shoes, footwear, is probably the most personal piece of equipment and one of the most crucial ones. So learn a lot about your feet. Learn the kinds of shoes that work for you, the kinds of boots, whether one pair of socks, 2 pairs of socks, wool, synthetic. Do you have hot spots always in the same place? Can you prevent them by putting something on that? Do you sweat? How you lace your boots and your shoes can even have an impact. So that's the number one thing for me over the years that has ruined a hike for people, is problem with the feet, blisters in particular. Hope you like this quick video. If you like it, give me a like, hit the subscribe button if you're new. And by all means, please ask me questions, provide comments, tell me your 5 things that your experience, and let's share, because that's what this is all about. I just love the comments, and I just want to help people enjoy this amazing pastime. So Marty up north saying thanks for watching, and get off the beaten path, and I'll see you on the trail.